Hi everyone, welcome to Semi-Crafty Librarian. I'm so glad you're tuning in today because we're going to make something kind of cool and fun. So these are pom-pom flowers and I'm going to show you how to make them and what they look like when you assemble a bouquet. So really basic stuff today, yarn. So just random bits of yarn that you might have from another project laying around your house. I actually have a little bit of embroidery floss, but you don't really need that if you've got yarn. I've got some wooden dowels today, and I've got a little bit of bendable wire. However, what I don't have here that you could definitely use too are just some regular sticks, little branches, little twigs from your yard that you could use in place of the dowels or in place of the wire. And some basic craft glue and a pair of scissors. So the first thing that you're going to do is to make a pom-pom. Now, you can make pom-poms lots and lots of different ways. There's all sorts of different techniques and ways to make a pom-pom. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a pom-pom just using your hand because I think this is easy and it works, but you could use a piece of cardboard. You could use a fork. They make little pom-pom makers that you can buy. So, but this is real easy. So I'm going to make a fairly large pom-pom because I'm going to have to trim it down a little bit. So I'm just going to wrap the string right around my fingers. Okay, so now the more you wind, the bigger, the fluffier your pom-pom will be. So I kind of like fluffier pom-poms, so I am going to wind quite a bit of yarn around my fingers. And so, of course, if you wanted to make a bigger one, you would use 3 or 4 of your fingers. But I'm going to make kind of a small to medium size fluffy pom-pom. I'm going to keep going here. I'm going to keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, so you're going to trim. Then you're going to trim off another piece of your yarn. And you could attempt, if you wanted to slide the yarn through and then pull it out here so your two ends are hanging out. But honestly, it's just easier to pull it off your finger. Then down the middle, you're just going to put your piece of cut yarn and pull it through. And I'm going to put my glasses on because I can't see. And then you're going to tie your knot. And tie it pretty tight. Sometimes it helps to have someone to help tie the knot to hold the end down there, and you can tie a square knot if you want. Okay, so there you have that. And then you're going to take your scissors and you're going to go into the middle again because really you just want to cut this. Okay, so you're going to go through. And then what you have is this funny looking mess of yarn that does not look anything like a pom-pom. So what you have to do after making several pom-poms, I realize like you really have to trim them up good. Okay, make sure you get all your little loops cut. And there's one right there. And you know, I honestly think looking at this, I probably could have wound the yarn a little bit more around my fingers to make it a little thicker, but then you just trim. Be careful when you're trimming. You don't want to trim too much, but you're going to have to make it look kind of uniform so your pom-pom's not so straggly looking. This is really, really, really simple. And if you get on Pinterest, if you look at Pinterest, you're going to see lots of different pom-pom bouquets like this. And you can use whatever colors you want. I just happen to have some purples and pinks, but you can really be creative with the color of yarn that you choose. So you see how the more you trim, the more pom-pom-ish it looks. So there's another loop I missed. And you just kind of go around until all the little ends are kind of uniform. So it needs a little bit more work, but you get the gist of this. So there's your pom-pom. There's your flower part. So then to make the stem part, you're going to take your dowel, or if you have a stick, you can use a stick, like I said, but you're going to take your dowel. And I didn't use glue when I made my pom-pom flowers the first time, but sometimes the yarn or the string will slide off. So if you have a little bit of craft glue or whatever kind of school glue, whatever you have, I do recommend just putting a little bit of glue on your dowel or your stick just to keep that yarn in place like that. And I've discovered that if you unbend a paper clip and just leave it in the top of your glue, it never gets clogged. So just a handy little tip. Okay, so pretty simple. You're just going to start your yarn on your dowel. And so I'm trying actually not to get my fingers gluey, but I think that's not going to happen. So let me just do this. And go over, fill in the gaps as you're wrapping your dowel or your stick. Just keep going around and around until you get it all the way done. And whenever if you watch Semi-Crafty Librarian, you kind of know I use pretty basic traditional colors for things. So of course I'm going to use green for the stem, but again, you guys can use whatever colors you want. And I see a little gap right there, so I'm going to go back and fill it in. And just keep going like that until it's all the way done, okay? Now, I did the same thing using my embroidery floss on a little piece of wire. So you just do the same process. You wrap your wire with the yarn, and this is actually, you can kind of twist it and bend it. So let me show you the examples that I made. I'm going to go ahead and cut this and just show you that you can easily just put your little flower right on top of the dowel. I didn't even glue mine, but you can glue it. So there it is, finished. Here's some that I made earlier. So you can see the yarn, the embroidery floss all the way down the dowel. I put the little pom-poms on the top, and I have a little vase here. I made some tiny ones. I didn't wrap the green string or the green yarn on the dowel, but I will maybe later. And here's the one that I did with a wire. You can kind of see, kind of gives it a more maybe realistic look for the stem, and you can bend it around if you wanted to. But I actually kind of like the wooden dowels better. But that just gives you another example of something else you can use. And put it in a little vase, and there you have a colorful pom-pom bouquet that might brighten up your desk or your windowsill at home, wherever you might put it. Super easy, super cute, super fun. So that's it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your afternoon or morning or night whenever you're watching this, and we'll see you next time. Bye.